Well, hey, Laura, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
this
thanks
is
for
Laura
having me.
Linville, the Director of Development with the Backpack Society.
Yeah, that's right.
Why don't you just take a minute or two and tell people what the Backpack Society is?
Yeah, no problem. So Backpack Society is a local nonprofit, and we feed kids on school breaks and weekends. So we quickly saw in our community that there were kids that were going home on the weekends and school breaks and had no food to eat. And so we thought, our founder was like, I should do something about this. So she kind of went to her local school, which was Thunder Ridge High School, where her kids were going at the time. And she reached out and said, hey, I was just wondering, do you guys have a lot of kids that go home without food? And they're like, yeah, we have about 20 kids that are on free and reduced lunch. And she's like, I have this idea that we could put food in their backpacks so that they could go home for the weekend and have something to eat over the weekend when they can't get school lunches. And so they thought it was a great idea, so they started doing that. In 2019, she did all the paperwork for the nonprofit, and then in the beginning of 2020, they had a big food drive at Thunder Ridge. And it kind of kicked off from there. Unfortunately, it was going to be a pilot program right after spring break, and we all know COVID hit, and nobody went back to school.
The worst time to start anything.
Yes, exactly. So it was kind of a bummer, but it turned into a good thing because those kids were then at home, and she was like, well, now they really need food.
Yeah.
So all the food that she collected in her garage, she started passing out to those kids door to door.
And was the school able to give out those kids information?
No, so the kids had to sign up for it.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of how we have it still.
Okay.
But yeah, she started passing out family boxes to those families. And then...
And how was this need brought to her attention originally?
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So she grew up in southern Colorado where there was a lot of food insecurity. And so she kept telling her husband, I want to give back to where I grew up. And he's like, why go all the way down to southern Colorado? Why don't you just go in our backyard?
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's need here. And so that's kind of what piqued her interest, was like, oh, I bet you're right. Because a lot of people don't think in suburbs that there might be a lot of need, but there's extreme need in suburbs. And especially because, when you're downtown Denver, there's a lot of places that you can go to get help.
Yeah.
But when you live in the suburbs, if you go ask somebody, where do I go to get a food pantry or whatever, people don't have no idea, right? Because there's just not as much down here for that. So
well, there's a little bit of a facade in the suburbs that everything is fine, everything's great, and no one has any problems here. Yeah,
that's what a lot of people want you to think. Yeah. Yes.
And so that's good. So so how originally did she? So she just went and asked. So it wasn't like she noticed or knew a kid or anything like that.
No, I mean,
she just thought about, I have this idea.
Yep.
Instead of doing it in southern Colorado.
Yes, she did it here in her backyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it turns out there is a need.
There's a huge need.
Yeah.
So we started in Thunder Ridge High School, and then now we are in over 45 schools in Douglas and Littleton Public Schools.
45
I know,
schools.
right?
Yeah. How are there 45 schools?
I know.
How many schools are there in Douglas County?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
You're not in all of them. Though.
Yeah.
So there's more than 45.
Yes.
Is that one of the goals, I imagine?
Yeah. So we kind of there's another organization that kind of helps out with the Parker schools.
Okay.
And so we kind of stay on the side, Highlands Ranch, Lone Tree, Sedalia, Roxborough, so kind of those areas, and then up into Littleton Public Schools. And we're almost in all the Littleton Public Schools, which we just rolled out last year. So
wow.
It's incredible.
So obviously it's a huge need then. It's
a huge need. Yeah. I mean, we pack about 80 family boxes. So not only do we do the bags and the backpacks, after she kind of noticed that people needed boxes of food too, right?
Yeah.
Some families needed a little bit more than that. And so we also have a family box program, and we pack
I want to get
boxes.
Into all the programs.
Yeah,
so don't go too far
okay,
yet.
I won't say.
I wrote down all the programs, and I want you to kind of walk through each
I
one.
can do that.
And I have a few questions on some of them.
No problem.
But I do want to hear a little bit more about your story about how you got involved.
Sure.
And just where you were raised. And because you had an interesting story about your family was very involved in giving back to their community too.
Yeah. So I grew up here in Littleton, Colorado. I went to Dakota Ridge High School and graduated there, the first class to graduate. So, which now shows how old I am.
We won't do the math. Don't do the math.
Right. That's right. But so I grew up in the area, and my grandparents lived in Glenwood Springs, and we would go up there for the summers. And my grandpa was the president of the bank in Glenwood Springs. And so he kind of got involved with the community because, people would come for him for loans and things like that. And once he retired, people still came to him for loans and help and things like that. And I remember as a kid, they also own a bunch of rentals around them. And I remember as a kid, people would show up at their door and kind of ask hey, can I talk to you? And they would have, things that they needed help with, like whether it be money or whatever. And my grandparents would always help them. So it was kind of cool. And then my grandma would help a lot of the elderly people in the community. So like if we had extra food for the day or whatever, she'd be like, oh, well, go take this over there to their house so that because it's hard when you're older and you don't have food and and cooking for one and
cooking for one's terrible.
Is terrible. And so she was
really
always
hard.
like, well, just take, our leftovers over there. And so I kind of grew up realizing like there's little small things you can do that make a big difference.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So your and parents did a great job of modeling that, and grandparents did a great job of modeling that for you then.
Yeah.
And have you always worked in the nonprofit world? What did you do before Backpack Society?
No, yeah. So I was going to go to medical school.
Okay.
So I went to school, got my biology degree and a minor in business.
You got a lot of degrees, huh?
I did, yeah. I love school. And I'd probably still go back now if it didn't cost so much.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yes.
You were at CSU and CEU, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I went to CSU, CU, and then I finished my degree at University of Alabama.
How'd you end up in Alabama?
So the idea was that we were going to go there so that I could then come back here for my residency when after I went to medical school. But I had a son, and my husband and I were like, I kind of want to stay home with him.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
they're so cute.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm sure you had your days where you started second guessing that decision. But
that's right. Yeah. So I decided to stay home with him, and we moved back here to Colorado. And I can't stay still, so I helped get a kid group together, so a mom and kid group, and we used to have a great time, all these play dates and all these plans for different families. And then once they were in school, I got involved with PTA and PTOs, and so I kind of started volunteering that way and doing auctions for the schools, and I helped run the student senate, and I ran the science fair, and I just couldn't stop myself, right?
Gosh.
Yes.
Our community's really lucky to have you. That's great.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's so cool. You're so involved. I love it.
It's fun. There's so much to give back and such a great community. And once you start giving back, you realize how much that gives back to you yourself. So
it's very rewarding.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
It's cool. So, but that's kind of how I got into Backpack Society, is because they heard that I had helped with the schools, and they said, will you come help us with a auction? And I said, no problem. So I did that, and then they asked if I could just stay.
And you're like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not doing these other 15 other volunteer positions.
Well, and my kids are kind of they were out of elementary by then, and so I was like, it's probably time for me to find a new pet project.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. And then, so can we take a little step back? I want to dive into all the programs that you guys have currently, and then maybe talk a little bit about programs that you guys are gonna, that you are working on rolling out in the future. Can you, for just the listeners and for my own sake, can you describe food insecurity a little bit more? What exactly, how do y'all determine who does and doesn't have it? And how do kids sign up for this?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's a lot of organizations that require income things and things,
Proof
exactly,
that you need help.
Exactly. And we are trying to remove some of those boundaries, because when there's kids involved, it's tricky, right? And if they need food, and we want them to be able to grow, learn, and thrive, right?
It's the idea. It's it's better to give food to a couple kids who don't maybe need it, families who don't need it and are just taking advantage of the situation, than for a one kid who really needs it to go without.
Exactly. Yes. And in this area, we have found that if people are going to ask for help, they need help, right? We don't seem to have a problem with people that are trying to overuse it or take advantage of it. It's more of
I feel like that's a fallacy with all sorts of welfare programs that people are just taking advantage of.
No,
it.
exactly.
It's maybe there's a handful of people here and there, but it's not it's humbling to ask for help.
Yeah, it's
and
hard
most people
to
aren't
ask for help.
Do that just to take advantage of the situation.
And so we don't require any kind of income. We just require that they have kids, because that's our focus. We learned we could go off the rails and try to help everybody, right? But if our focus is just kids, that's what we're helping. And so, we don't ask for any income requirements or anything like that. We just ask that they have school-age kids. And most of the time they find out about us in their school. So a lot of schools will put it in their newsletter and say, if you need help, Backpack Society is here to help you. And then they'll just reach out and sign up.
Just an email usually?
Yeah, we have a link on our website, and anybody can sign up. So a lot of times, principals will help, or counselors will help, or a teacher, or the family will just sign up themselves, or in high school and middle school, even the kids just sign themselves up, because sometimes it's embarrassing for a parent to sign them up, but they know they need food, and so they'll sign themselves up.
So you guys make it really easy to sign up and
We make it really easy, because we often hear from people that when, and a lot of our clients are people that like single moms or single dads, or they had a medical problem and they're just falling on a little bit of tough times, right? And they're going through so much anyways that the last thing they need is more paperwork.
And if the community can come together and just take care of that for them for a little bit.
That's exactly it. Our mission is to just kind of get them back on their feet, right? Like, we don't want them to get to the point where they're living in their car or living on the street or something like that.
We have to move schools, take their kids out of their school.
Yes. And if those kids realize that somebody along their way kind of helped them with that, then I feel like they're going to remember that, and they're going to go so much farther realizing like somebody cared and helped them. So.
Yeah, and I've been helped out by people, and then you get into a position down the road, like you get through that hard time, and you get to a position where you can give back, and that's like the first thing that you want to give back to. It's like, oh, this thing that really helped me, I want to turn around and give and support that mission because I know how much it helps people. Which
is so funny you say that, because we have so many people that come, and that's why they volunteer. I mean, that's kind of why I volunteered, is because my dad had a single mom, and there were a lot of people in the community that kind of helped her out. And if they wouldn't have, I wouldn't be here, right? So you think about your own life and how many times you're so close to like being on the edge of really needing some help, or like everybody goes through that. And most of the time, family is around to kind of give you a little boost or whatever. But for those people that don't have that, then they just need somebody in the community to give them a boost. And
programs like Backpack
Society. Exactly. But we have a lot of people that come back and volunteer too. That's once we help them,
that's a huge testament to your mission.
It's really cool. Yeah.
That's great. Cool. Let's talk about the programs. So the student program, which is kind of the original program, right? Can you tell me the nuts and bolts of like how it works?
Sure. So a family can sign up their kids for the student program, and that is a bag of food that goes home in their backpacks on Fridays. And it has enough food for 6 meals and snacks for the whole weekend.
Okay.
They're easy to prepare snacks. So
is it food? It's food just for the kid.
Just for the kid.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Because a lot of the kids are home by themselves on the weekends because a lot of the parents are working and things like that. So we want food that they can eat, that they will eat, and that they can prepare themselves. So
can you give me an example?
Yeah, mac and cheese, ramen noodles, raviolis, and then we also put in vegetables like canned vegetables, soup. They like soup a lot, and then little snacks. We always try to put something fun in there because everybody likes to eat something fun.
And it's just like in a plastic bag, and
it is
the teacher slipping it into their backpacks?
Yep. Yeah. So
discreetly.
Different schools do it different ways. So I used to substitute teach, and when I was substituting, a lot of times they deliver them to the classrooms on Fridays, and then while they were out at recess, I just put them in the bags that they needed, and then most kids didn't even know. But like high school and middle school, it might be in the front office, and they stop by and grab the bag before they go home. Or So that's kind of our student program. And once they're signed up for the year, they're signed up for the whole year until they tell us to take them off. So.
Okay. And then will they need to sign up again for the next year, the next school year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything over the summer that you guys are able to do?
We do. Yeah. So we, on the summer school programs, we deliver bags to the summer school programs. And oftentimes a lot of the kids that might be food insecure also are in summer school.
Sure.
And so some of the schools do it differently. So some of them just have bins of the bags out, and if they need one, they take one.
Okay.
Some of them sign up actual kids. And then, for those that aren't in summer school, we also offer our family box program, which is our other program, and that kind of helps. I'll explain that one.
Sure, go for it. Yeah, the family program.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so the family program is boxes of food, and that has more fresh items, right? So like produce, milk, eggs, anything that they might need, but it's more fresh items that they can, because they come and pick it up on Thursday evenings.
Where do they pick it up
from? From Backpack Society, so off of C470 and Broadway. Yeah. So they sign up, that program they have to sign up for every week because it's as needed.
Gotcha.
We don't want any food waste.
Yeah. You don't want to make too much and then have a bunch of eggs and fruit and veggies go
Exactly. Bad. And they choose what they want, which is really important to us. So online.
So they show up and they fill it up, or is
no?
it,
so they plan it. They just order online, and then they are able to choose the things that they want in their box.
Cool.
They tell us about allergies. So if they're gluten free, if they can't have nuts, if they can't, because we don't
really
want food
customize
waste.
It.
Yeah. Because so many food banks will give a box of food to a family, and half of it they won't eat, so they'll throw it away, or half of it they're allergic to, or they'll try to eat it, and then like if you're gluten free and you're trying to eat things not gluten free, that's not good for your health, and it's kind of counterintuitive to what we're trying to do. So
and then maybe they're hesitant to come back because like I can't eat half the stuff they include in that. So
yes, exactly. And we don't want food waste, obviously. So, and it works well because then they're getting only the things they need. Like some families are like, we are able to get these things, but we just can't afford milk or meat or eggs or, you know, cereal or whatever, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, we kind of offer all those items. They choose, and then they come and pick them up on Thursday evenings, and we bring it to their car and put it in the back of their car. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, what a cool program.
It's awesome.
And then there's another one called the School Pantry that I want to hear about. Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of came out of the need of, you know, when you're a teacher in school and you have snack time, like the younger kids, right? There's oftentimes that kids that never bring a snack, right? Yeah. So those teachers were buying the snacks for the kids. Well, teachers don't need to be doing one more thing.
Teachers are saints, man.
Right?
They are saints.
Exactly. They're making very little money and themselves are paying for these kids to eat. And so we kind of were like, that's not right. So we now provide snacks for the schools to then pass out to kids that don't have snacks. In high school, that also helps for kids that are going to play sports after school and they don't have a snack to eat after school.
What kind of snacks do they provide?
All kinds of different things. So like, it depends. Some school, we customize it to what the school wants and needs. So if there's a school that is nut-free, we provide all nut-free snacks. Or if they have a lot of gluten-free kids, we provide gluten-free snacks for them, right? So it can be anything from like granola bars, goldfish, because again, we don't want waste. So we want to provide what the kids need.
Man, this is a complex organization. You guys have a lot going on.
We do, yeah. But we've gotten it kind of fine-tuned.
How big is your staff?
So we actually, nobody at our organization right now gets paid. We all volunteer. And
Y'all are crazy. Good for you.
But it's awesome. We have 5 board members. Okay. And so, we kind of divide up the work a little bit, and then we all work in the pantry, and we have amazing volunteers. A lot of them are retired teachers. Okay. A lot of retired folks, and then also moms that are stay-at-home moms that come and volunteer while their kids are at school. Or it's so much fun. And then we have organizations and businesses that come in and do team building. So like we'll have them come help us pack the boxes, or
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun.
They just bring their employees, and it's just their way of giving back. But it
helps us tremendously.
I'm sure it helps them tremendously too.
Yes, it's cool. And then we also have after school times that kids can come in and help us pack bags or do different projects. So, and that's a lot of fun.
We'll bring our team, me and Justin.
That's right.
We'll come pack some bags sometime. That sounds like my mom was involved in things like this too, and very involved in our church growing up and giving back. And I remember she started this what she call it, the kid sitter or something like that, and it was a building that we did like resell clothes, kids clothes, right? Cool. Built this big building and had this store and ran it for maybe a year or two. I can't remember how long. I was very young. And then she was just like, I just feel led to give this to the Christian Care Center because they are out of storage and I don't want to run this business anymore. So they just donated the whole building to like the local, Christian Care Center that gave clothes and food and stuff like that. So, and then we would of course go there and volunteer our time as well. So it sounds like we had a similar childhood in that regard. Yeah,
that's what I love about it is like your kids can come, like my kids come all the time and they love it. Too. It's so fun.
It's great. Yeah, just great for them to just be around that and see it and know that it exists, you know, and like know that that's something that's important to do to get back to your community.
And I think that's unique because it's hard to find organizations that your kids can come and help with. And so people call us all the time and are like, can I bring my kids? And we're like, yes, please.
Yeah.
The only time we don't allow it is when they come and pick up their boxes because we just don't want kids being embarrassed if they see a classmate getting food.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, we want to respect their privacy and stuff. But any other time, we love having kids come and help us. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you have one other program called that you guys are kind of actively doing called the Crisis Boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of came out of a need of, we would have schools call us and say, hey, we just found out this family, had something bad happen and they don't have any food for the night. Okay. And so we'd quickly try to pack a bag or a box of food for them and get it over to the school as fast as we could. And so we thought, if we kind of do this proactively, that would be much better. So we now pack boxes that the schools hold in their schools and they can just have them ready to go, right? So a lot of non-perishable items again, and we have a student size or a family size. So when you have a high schooler that's couch surfing, they find out they're couch surfing or something, they can provide them with that little box of food for 24 hours with also we put toiletries in there so that we can help those families and kids and until they can get them better services. Or we have a lot of house fires, like things like that. Like if there's a house fire and the family is moving into a hotel, we can provide them with a box of food so that they can have something for 24 hours until we can get them more. So Yeah.
Okay. So it kind of buys some time.
Yeah. We have a lot of the police officers that also use them now. especially SROs in the school.
Gotcha.
School resource officers. So, yeah.
So they find a need, they can reach out to you guys, or they just have them?
A lot of them just have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
In their school office and things like that. So
nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then if they run out of those, they just reach out to you guys and you replenish them?
Yeah, they literally just go online and they can just order however many they want.
You guys have an
and
online
we deliver
system.
It.
Okay.
We do. We are fancy now.
Dang, that's impressive.
Yes.
All right, you guys are more high tech than us, and that's like what we do. So, which of the programs, I imagine that like the student program is probably like the most popular, like the main program?
Yeah, so we give out about 300 bags a week.
Oh, wow.
And then the boxes, we have about 80 boxes a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely the most. And then I already asked you about summer break. And then I saw something on your website about the storefront.
Yeah. So yes, this is super exciting. We have been waiting for almost a year to get the space next door to us. There was a dance studio and they were moving across the parking lot. Okay. And so, it just takes time to get their space ready and, work everything out. So we just got it and we just knocked a hole in the wall and and then
just one?
And then cut the hole in the wall. Two holes in the wall. And we have about 1,700 square feet right now.
Oh, wow.
And the space next door is 2,700 square feet. And so we're super excited because we literally are like crawling all over each other and like donations of food will come in and they go out so fast that now we'll be able to have the space to be able to store a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. And our landlord was generous enough to let us use a space in the parking lot, another open space to store some of our food because we were just overwhelmed with donations. But we also give out so much. When you're giving out 300 bags and 80 boxes a week, that's a lot of food. So yeah. So now we're going to move that over there into that space. We're opening it up so the whole space is open. And then our old space, the front part of it, we're going to open as a store. And people can come in and instead of getting a family box, they can come and shop with points, a point system, and choose their items because we often get like random food donations, right? And we try to do a good job of, asking people like, hey, would you like this? But it would be so much nicer if they could come in and see the items.
Want this. Okay.
Yeah, because we also do like special requests. So like people can write on there like, oh, do you have any ketchup? Or do you have any, random things that they might need or flour? Or we also get a lot of toiletry donations. And so if they need, toilet paper or cleaner or stuff like that, we have that too. But it will be so much nicer that they can come in and just see the items.
And just get what they really need.
Yeah. And I think for some...
That just sounds like a more efficient process.
I think so too.
Getting the people who need things exactly what they need.
Exactly, yeah.
Instead of trying to guess.
Exactly. And our family box program will keep it just because we have some clients that have small children and going into a store is overwhelming and the last thing they want to do or need to do.
Yeah.
And so we'll keep the family box program.
I've been shopping with my 3 little kids.
Right. Yes.
It sounds fun in theory. Yeah. Like, let's go, we'll all pile in and go for it. Right. And then you like get in you're halfway done and you're just like, I just need to get home.
Yes, yes.
I think I have enough food for tonight. We can make something.
Exactly.
Let's go. We're getting out of here.
Yes, yeah.
I'll come back without you.
That's right.
So tell me about how big the volunteer base is and then what sort of commitment you ask for from the volunteers.
Yeah, so we try to, again, keep it as easy as possible, right? So people just go on our website and they click the button that says volunteer and they just sign up for an open slot. We don't have any, training or requirements of like, you must volunteer these many times or anything like that.
No background checks or anything.
Well, no, we don't do any background checks or anything like that. A lot of times we haven't run into that problem.
Yeah. You're just filling up boxes.
Exactly, so, right. Yeah, exactly.
They're not working directly with the kids.
Exactly. So. Yeah. But it works out really well. And we have several different spots that are just kind of available every week. So like Wednesdays and Thursdays are our main days of working. And we have things all through the day.
You have to get ready for Friday.
Exactly. And actually all this stuff goes out and is delivered to the schools on Thursday morning.
Okay.
So we have everything from volunteers packing the boxes or volunteers packing the bags, but then we also have driving opportunities. So people can come and pick up bags on Thursday mornings and then drive them to a school to drop them off. Or we also have opportunities for people to go help us pick up food. So like we get food from We Don't Waste and from Flowers Bakery. And so they can drive down there and pick up the food for us and bring it back so that we can put it in the boxes.
Okay.
And then luckily Food Bank of the Rockies delivers their food to us. So you don't have to worry about that.
So how do you keep all that organized?
Yeah, so we have a signup.com is what we use for our sign up. It's like Sign Up Genius.
Yeah.
But people just sign up for spots.
Just blanks. You just one of you is just putting in all the different needs, and then people are just signing in. And if someone doesn't sign up for something,
we just cover it.
Do it.
Yeah, okay. Or we put out something on social and say like,
somebody will sign up for it.
Yeah, we could use some help, and we have been so lucky. People
do you
are
have
generous.
Like Facebook group, Instagram?
We
accounts?
do.
Okay.
Yep, we have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. And so almost never have a problem filling those spots?
No, we really don't.
What a generous community.
The community is amazing. The only time we kind of run into problems is like the Thursday morning driving to the schools. That's our only tricky one. But really, people most time if we just put it out there, people will be like, "Oh, I'll go sign up."
Like how many? I guess if you have 45 schools, do you need 45 drivers, or one driver can go to several schools?
Yeah, one driver can go to several schools. Like if they're all in a row, then they'll just drive to those.
And
schools.
The schools are expecting it, so you show up with a bunch of bags. They're not looking at you weird. They're come on in, drop them off right here. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of them will come out.
I'm wondering
because
if I volunteered for that the first time I go to a school like walking up this bearded man with a bunch of bags, like. What are you doing here? I'm walking in just trying to break into some elementary school.
That's right. Yeah. No, we always just say you're from Backpack Society. And a lot of times they kind of watch and they'll come out and help too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So then 300 bags, I'm not good at math, but is like some schools get 20 bags and some schools only get 2 or 3?
Yep. Yeah. We just deliver whatever they need. We also have a school that comes and picks up bags as well. But yeah, and it kind of changes every week too, depending like if there's more kids that all of a sudden need them, or if there's one that drops off, or so.
Yeah, the numbers aren't exactly the same.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about like the biggest challenge for you guys right now.
Yeah.
Like, what is the biggest hurdle you have?
I mean, mostly time, because we all put in so much time, but then we have so much more we want to do, right? So our biggest thing is grants. The founder and I, June Everett is the founder, and then she and I kind of share the grant writing responsibility. And grant writing is hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to find grants. It takes a lot of time to write grants. It takes a lot of time to come up with specific projects that we can do those grants for. So yeah, grant writing is a tough one.
I know all about this. My wife is a research professor.
Yes.
All she does is write grants.
Yes, exactly. And it takes time. But when you're also trying to run a pantry, and then I do a lot of chamber events and outreach, because we've had a great success with corporate donors. And I mean, just over the last few years here. So one of the other ladies, Nikki Schubert, she and I kind of work with the corporate side of it. And but again, we're also running the pantry and doing all those things. So it's hard to find time to write grants. I would say that's to have consistent income for us so that we can continue doing the work that we're doing. But
so you need help with grant writing.
Yeah.
Finding grants, writing grants,
which I feel like
grants.
Every nonprofit is kind of in that boat. So yeah.
Okay. Are there? Is it hard to find the grants? Are there a lot of grants? Not
necessarily. I mean, there's a lot of good tools out there to kind of help you find the grants. So it's more just finding the time to look through them and see which ones fit what we're doing, right? So, and we've had a lot of success with grants lately, but it just takes time.
Yeah.
And then it always takes so long to hear back, which is totally fine. And then you also have to report back on the grants. So a lot of times you have to report to say here's what we did and here's our receipt.
You have to show them how you use the money.
Which is absolutely the right thing to do. It just takes time. So
yeah. And then how big are some of these grants that you guys are trying to get?
So
what's I'm just trying to get scale.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, scale.
Really, we apply for any kind of grant, anything we can get. We did one of our largest grants we just got was from the stadium sale. So when the stadium sold in Denver here, they released money out to different counties and cities based on, I think, the tax that they paid or, you know. And so Douglas County allowed us to apply for a grant. So they said, we want to give it towards things that are going towards kids. And so several organizations applied for a grant, and we got $20,000 of that, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you guys are using that money to pay for your facility. And do you guys have refrigeration on site?
We do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we use that money to help buy food also, because we get so much food donated, and then we also get food from Food Bank of the Rockies. But there's always a gap, right?
Yeah.
And we can purchase food from Food Bank of the Rockies for way cheaper than we can at the grocery store. So,
okay. I guess I'm not familiar with Food Bank of the Rockies.
Sure.
What is it?
So Food Bank of the Rockies is a giant food bank here in Colorado.
Okay.
And they provide food for other pantries, but they also give out food from their location downtown.
Gotcha.
But some of it is free, and some of it you have to purchase from them at a way reduced rate. But yeah,
and they're a nonprofit. They're not,
exactly.
It's not like King Soopers trying to make a dollar.
No, exactly.
They're a nonprofit.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you guys can supplement that. So people are donating food. You guys are getting donations from the food bank and purchasing from the food bank. And then, is there any other way that you're getting food?
Yeah, so schools and churches and businesses often do food drives for us, and it's huge. So just today, we had a challenge called the Knockdown Cereal Challenge, and 5 schools, we do this every year, 5 schools will collect cereal as much as they can, and then they line it all up like dominoes.
Okay.
And then they knock it over, and it's really fun. And so...
And then they give it all to you guys.
They do, yeah. And then we give them a trophy to the school that collects the most. So
nice. How many boxes of cereal does a school get?
I was going to say, today we've been going around collecting cereal, and one of the schools, I think, got over 1,000 boxes of cereal.
Oh.
Yeah, we have to finish counting it.
Store all that.
Exactly.
Which luckily you have an extra 2,000 square feet now.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. But it's so helpful because we give out over 80 boxes of cereal a week.
Oh,
so we go through that so quickly.
Does that typically go in the family box?
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's super helpful. So those
I was just thinking a box of cereal would not fit in my kid's backpack. Not with all the other papers and things that get shoved in there.
Yes. No, yeah. No, we put those in the family boxes. Cool. And then the little bags of food, we put tiny boxes of cereal. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yes.
Good snacks.
That's right.
So yeah, we could wrap up here. I think we've covered everything. Is there anything that we've left out that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. I think, our community is just, I think the one thing that it's important to tell people is that, just doing whatever you can, whether it's time or money or advocacy for organizations like ours, like nonprofits, just a little bit goes a long way, right? Like some people think that they have to give so much time or so much money or, so much of different things that it's like, no, just
if I can't volunteer 10 hours, I don't want to volunteer at all. It's like, no.
Yes, it's like, no, every little bit helps, right? Even we have kids that will donate like their birthday money and it's so sweet because it's like, that little bit of money goes so far for helping kids and feeding kids and, or we have kids that come and volunteer for 1 hour and that 1 hour helps us tremendously. So I'd just say look for those opportunities in your community to do small little things. So
that's great. Yeah. And so why don't you tell people where they can find you guys, find out more information, sign up to volunteer and donate?
Okay, yeah. So they can find us on backpacksociety.org. Okay. And on that website, you can find all the information to donate and to volunteer and more about us and what schools we're in. So, everything can be found there. It's pretty, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram. Facegram. And it's super helpful if they follow us. We try to do a good job of putting a lot of content out there, but it's super helpful if people like it and, follow it. And
Cool.
Yes.
Well, good for you guys.
Yeah,
that's great.
You.
Me and Justin are gonna talk. We're gonna either volunteer some time or donate some money. We're gonna do something for Backpack Society because I think that's an amazing mission that you guys have.
Thank you. Yeah,
we'd love to support.
Thanks. I think it's great that it helps people right around here. So
Yeah, me too. Because there's so many great organizations out there doing amazing things. But it's like when you can give back to your community and you see the difference, and it's like the kids at the playground that you see, like those are the kids that you're helping and impacting. And so it's huge. Everyone should give back to their own community.
I agree. Yeah.
So awesome, Laura. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes.